In Christian schools, 80% of educators believe their students' mental health is good or excellent. But this optimism clashes with a harsh reality. 40% of all high schoolers feel persistently hopeless. Why the disconnect? A halo effect makes us assume that good Christian kids are immune to these struggles. This assumption leads us to dismiss real fear or doubt as nothing more than a lack of faith. Next, we'll show why this gap exists, the real harm it causes, and how to biblically bridge faith and feelings for our kids. So what happens when a child's emotional weight is ignored, even in a loving Christian environment? The consequences are severe. Emotional neglect is common in high-control religious homes, where children learn to suppress feelings to fit in. This neglect breeds deep feelings of unworthiness and low self-esteem. They begin to feel fundamentally flawed. Critically, it can damage their view of God. If the people they see don't help, why would a God they cannot see? This is what it means for a child to carry emotional weight. It's a silent burden of anxiety, withdrawal, or unexplained anger. The impact is clear and damaging. But the problem isn't a lack of love, it's often a gap in our systems. So why do our well-meaning churches and schools so often fall short in providing this vital emotional support? One reason is our institutions are often trapped in a dualism, torn between academics and character, leaving emotional health behind. This false choice prevents a true education where intellectual and emotional growth are seen as intertwined. We build the mind but neglect the heart. Another reason, our leaders feel unprepared. Many youth pastors and ministry leaders admit they feel ill-equipped to handle mental health issues. This leads to a reactive culture. We only step in after a crisis, missing vital chances for prevention and support. And underlying it all is stigma, where mental illness is wrongly viewed as a spiritual failure. This silences kids who need help the most. Let's see what this looks like in a child's life. These are not abstract problems, they have faces. Imagine a teen confessing doubts to a leader, only to be told to pray more, leaving them feeling completely isolated. Think of a meal train for a grieving family. We bring food for the parents, but does anyone sit with the kids and help them process their loss? So why do our institutions fall short? They are designed for physical and academic needs, but lack the framework for the emotional ones. This is the halo effect we mentioned earlier in action. We assume the pastor's kid, the straightest student, is okay, so we don't ask. But doesn't focusing on feelings undermine faith? The Bible shows us it is not an either-or. In fact, the opposite is true. This is not just about avoiding harm. It's about unlocking potential. One study showed Christian school students scored 30% higher on emotional intelligence. Those same students also showed 25% better resilience to academic stress. Integrating emotional health actually boosts academic success. And this isn't only on our institutions. Our children learn the most about emotional regulation by watching us, the parents. When they see us handle stress with patience and prayer, they learn faith is a tool for managing feelings, not a reason to ignore them. Remember that teen who was told to just have more faith? The Psalms give us a divine script for what they actually needed, a way to voice their doubt to God. This reveals a foundational truth. Emotions are God-given, therefore faith is not meant to replace our feelings but to anchor them in God's bigger story. This brings us back to our unprepared youth pastors. Their fear is valid, but their role is not to be a therapist. They are the bridge to professional care. A healthy church doesn't choose between faith and psychology. It uses faith to eliminate stigma and lovingly guides people toward the expert help they need. Overlooking our children's emotional health is not a failure of our love or faith. It is a blind spot and a profound opportunity. We are called to let the little children come. That means all of them, their joy, their questions, and their emotional weight. It starts with a simple question. If your church has a meal train for a crisis, do you also have an emotional support plan for the kids involved? Building these emotionally and spiritually healthy communities is our most sacred work. To help you start, comment guide below for our resource guide.